Special at-home edition of Seattle Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports, as we have a free agent signing for your Seattle Seahawks, as they have added former Pro Bowl offensive guard Laken Tomlinson to a one-year deal, according to NFL Network's Tom Pelissero. This is much needed for the Seattle Seahawks. It was no secret that when you looked at this team that there was a clear weakness, not just on the offensive line as a whole, but also at the offensive guard spot as well. Earlier this week, Pro Football Focus put out rankings of all the offensive lines in the NFL, and the Seahawks were rated as the worst offensive line in the entire National Football League. So that should tell you everything that you need to know, that they needed help. And I know some of you are saying, well, what about Olu? What about Anthony Bradford? Well, no matter what, there was still a starting spot to fill. Now, you still might draft another center or another guard, potentially, that could compete with Olu and Anthony Bradford for playing time. But now you bring in Laken Tomlinson, and he is going to start for this Seahawks team when the season begins week 1. So, folks, this is why you subscribe to Seattle Seahawks Today. Even on my off day, on this Saturday afternoon, we're still bringing you Seahawks coverage here on the channel. Even if I'm having to use my in-home setup, we're making it happen for you here. This is why you subscribe. The latest happenings for your favorite team all offseason long. We're talking free agency, draft, trades, news and rumors, everything in between. If you can do us a little favor and subscribe to the channel, that goes a long way to support the work we're doing to bring you free Seahawks content each and every day here on Seahawks Today. Subscribe now for free. You'll be glad you did. All right, let's tell you more about Laken Tomlinson. We mentioned a Pro Bowler back in 2021, and this will be his second trip to the NFC West, as he played for the San Francisco 49ers for quite a bit from 2017 to 2021, including his Pro Bowl season. Was most recently with the New York Jets from 2022 to 2023. Began his career with the Detroit Lions for 2 seasons, former first-round pick out of Duke back in 2015. And you look at what the depth chart is now going to look like for Seattle when it comes to this offensive line now. Charles Cross will be your starting left tackle, with Abraham Lucas as your starting right tackle. And then your guard spots, if the season were to begin today, Laken Tomlinson would start at left guard, Anthony Bradford would start at right guard, and Olu Oluwatimi would be starting at center. So that's where things stack up right now. And watch out for George Fant as well. I think that he's going to be a significant part of the Seahawks offensive line rotation, especially with the question marks to Abraham Lucas as far as if his knee is going to hold up or not. And I think there is a possibility, depending on how well Anthony Bradford performs, that you could potentially see Abraham Lucas move to guard and start George Fant at the right tackle spot. That's a possibility as well. So we saw last year a lot of different combinations with the offensive line, but this is your starting 5 if the season began today. And I think you add in Tomlinson, you feel a lot better with this move. We talked about signing Laken Tomlinson a month ago on the channel. And the thing that we kept pointing to is, at this point, why not bring in a guy like Tomlinson, a veteran that's a Pro Bowler, that helps an obvious need, that's not going to cost you a ton on a one-year deal? What do you have to lose at this point in time by signing a guy like Laken Tomlinson? That's what, to me, I look at. Now, I want to hear from you guys. What's your one-word reaction to the Seahawks signing Laken Tomlinson? What is your one word? Give me one word. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. My one word is satisfied. Thank you. Is this an earth-shattering move? No. Not going to move mountains by this, but it certainly makes life a lot easier for the Seahawks to go this route. I mean, of the options that were there on your roster prior to this signing, it was looking pretty bleak, right? This allows you to breathe for a second. Now, does that mean that everything's solved, that you just ignore the offensive line for the draft? Absolutely not. No, you still need to go get interior linemen when the draft comes around. And let's be honest about Olu and Anthony Bradford here. Jury's still out on both those guys. The limited playing time that we saw from both of them in 2023 was very raw. So you could look at using higher picks to compete with those guys and potentially take their jobs, or see if you add depth pieces, whatever it may be. So still some work to be done when it comes to this offensive line, but this is a step in the right direction. Let's go over the numbers from Pro Football Focus when it comes to Laken Tomlinson. Last season with the New York Jets, he was on the field for 1,099 snaps, and he had an offensive grade of 55.0, a run block grade of 49.6, and a pass block grade of 60.2. So not great numbers, if we're going to be honest with you. He allowed 7 sacks last season, which was a career high for him. Also allowed 34 hurries, which was a career high as well. So are the Seahawks getting the Pro Bowl version of Laken Tomlinson from 2021? In all likelihood, probably not. If we're going to be frank, he's coming off the worst season of his career there in New York. But it was still better than what the Seahawks have currently. You go back to his best 2 seasons. This is the version that the Seahawks are hoping that they are getting out of Laken Tomlinson. Back in 2021, his grades that he put together, according to PFF, had an offensive grade of 75.9, a run block grade of 75.0, and a pass block grade of 75.2. Those are really solid numbers across the board. Typically, for most of his career, he's been better at pass blocking as opposed to run blocking, but his 2 best seasons, his run blocking was really good. You go back to 2020, and his grades were even higher back then with San Francisco. An overall grade of 78.8, a run block grade of 80.9, and a pass block grade of 62.2. So he is capable. We'll just see if he can put it together or not and get the job done for the Seahawks on the offensive line there. So there you have it. The Seahawks sign Laken Tomlinson, and he will be a day 1 starter for the Seattle Seahawks. Plenty of experience. He's played in 146 games in his NFL career with 138 starts in the National Football League as well. And when he was with the Jets recently, he was on a 3-year contract. They released him back in February. So you're getting him. We still haven't seen any numbers yet, but it's going to be considerably less than what the New York Jets were paying him. I can tell you that much right now on that 1-year deal that he's signing with the Seahawks here. Great signing. What do you think the Seahawks bringing in Laken Tomlinson? A, B, C, D, or F? I like it. Like I mentioned, not earth-shattering, but it's something that needed to be done. I'll give it a B+. Give me your grade in the comment section below. Thanks for joining us here on this special edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. Subscribe now for more Seahawks coverage. Got another video coming out later in the day, so stay tuned for that, and we will see you next time right here on Seahawks Today.